want you to put the word out there that we back up. Understand me? We back up. I want you.
Giving you the real surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with your host, Skywalker Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Hip, hip. Good morning, good people. Welcome to the Skywalker Morning Show. We're streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! We back up, baby. We back up. Hey. Cut down day yesterday. Wow, across the league. The Cowboys have their initial 53-man roster finalized. Initial. There's still some more hoops, some more roster gymnastics that they're going to have to do likely today and tomorrow. So we'll touch on that the rest of the week. However, we're going to talk about some underdog wins who made this team, some shockers who maybe didn't, and some controversial takes as well from this whole cut down yesterday. Plus, we have some really, really good news in the roundup on Trayvon Diggs, which I think played a factor as well in cutting down to this roster. What's good with your Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
Man, missed you guys. Let me just say this real quick, because I know a lot of people, hey, man, when's the show coming back? This is the season schedule, ladies and gentlemen, okay? This is subject to change in the sense that we may go even more than 3 days a week. However, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we will be live, 9:15 a.m. ish. Heavy on the ish. However, y'all know how we get down in the season, man. It's my favorite time to be live talking Cowboys with you guys. So make sure y'all lock in during the season. This does not mean that's going to be the only content. We'll still be doing the Sky and 2i show. We're taking a break this week to ramp up for next week. There will be that happening at the very least each week, possibly multiple times per week. I will still be putting out my drive of the games. I'm going to stick to those each week, and we'll probably do some news desk things as well. So there should be content just about every day, if not multiple times on specific days. So I'm excited. The season's here. Y'all know how I like to get down during the season. I love kicking it with y'all. Oh, by the way, you want to call to the show, which you should. I want to talk to y'all. It's been a minute. 351-999-3787. We're going to touch on the offensive side and the defensive side in today's show. So make sure y'all stick around for that. Yeah, there are a couple. I see you guys dropping in Winfrey in here, Houston's. There's some underdog stories that I think were really cool, but it wasn't given to these dudes. It wasn't. They went out there and took it. And we're, like I said, we're gonna jump into all of it. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and hit this roundup real quick. We have some house cleaning to do right here.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. So a couple days ago, it came out Trayvon Diggs passed his physical. Now, passing his physical and being able to be medically cleared to play week 1, I think are two different things. I believe, if I had to guess, they're going to hold Trayvon Diggs out for week 1. But the fact that he passed his physical is a huge win for Diggs. Huge win for Diggs. Because let's be real, the front office tried to slander him. I mean, you can try to sugarcoat it all you want, but when Stephen Jones goes in front of the camera and talks about how we think he would have been ready if he's here and et cetera, they tried to slander him for doing his rehab away from the facility. And they have the right to feel how they want to feel. However, personally, I thought I was okay with Diggs doing just that, given his reasonings for doing it, right? He felt that he would be able to get the most attention towards his rehab by working with his guy. And I think it was justified given the lack of staff that was here. Now, that doesn't mean that this staff hasn't had success stories or whatnot, but it's clear these two, when I say these two, I mean the rehab staff and Diggs, they just weren't seeing eye to eye. A couple years ago, and this is true, it was rough between him and the rehab staff. He just it wasn't working out. So I think that's what led him to going to do his own thing to try to recover from his injury. And shouts out to him. He recovered. He's back, and we should probably see him sooner rather than later, because I thought that he at least be out for the first 4 games, meaning potential IR, stay on pup type situation. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Diggs will not miss at least 4 games unless some setback happens. More likely 1, maybe 2. And I think that did affect a little bit of how they structured this roster. We're going to get to the defensive side, the cornerback side of it later, which is interesting going into week 1. Very interesting going into week 1. But I absolutely believe him being available early in this season affected how they attacked that position. The cornerback room needs him. We talked about this. You can feel how you want to feel about where he rehabbed and where he did this and where he did that. The team is better when Diggs is on the field. The cornerback room is better when Diggs is on the field. And we talked about this on the collective. I personally think Diggs, this scheme, from a coverage standpoint, kind of favors his strengths, right? Like, he's a smart player. He likes to break on the ball. He has that click trigger, one of the best in the league when he's, playing that way. Vision defense, you better trick Diggs, because if you don't, we can see those interception numbers go right back up. Now, not 11. And you might say, well, Sky was crushing it as a man guy. Yeah, he was in Dan Quinn's scheme. I'm not saying he can't play man, but I do think there's his strengths, right? Being a smart player, heady player, quick trigger player, jumping routes, vision based. I think that's going to play into his favor as well. Diggs being back is good stuff. It's good stuff. Now, before we get to who made the team, let's talk a little bit about some of these guys who did not make the team. And I'm going to be very interested to see the claims both ways, right? Who claims Cowboys players and if the Cowboys actually claim somebody. A lot of this wasn't a surprise to me, though. There were a few names, but some of these guys, some of the veteran guys weren't a surprise. But I want to start off with the rookie, and let me talk to y'all. Y'all let me know if this is a surprise to you. Tommy Akingbasotay. I don't think he's necessarily a shocker that he didn't make the team. However, he becomes just the second Cowboys draft pick that was waived on cutdown day in the last 6 Cowboys drafts. So what I mean is after he was drafted. The second Cowboys draft pick waived at cutdown day to be drafted in the last 6 Cowboys drafts. The first guy since 2019 was last year, Justin Rogers. The irony there is they both play defensive tackle, which is a very hot topic here in Dallas, as it should be. So while I don't think Tommy Akingbasotay was a surprise, it's still a very interesting situation where the Cowboys elect to keep all of their guys on cutdown day. And let me clarify this. I see this all the time. Jonathan Ridgeway was not cut on cutdown day. Jonathan Ridgeway initially made the 53-man roster. He was cut September 17th after the Cowboys' first game, which was September 11th. And if you guys remember the hoopla around that, Dak Prescott got injured. And in order to get, I believe it was Cooper Rush, up on the active roster, they didn't want to put Dak on IR, which would have kept a roster spot free. Instead, they kept Dak on the team and they cut Ridgeway, hoping to keep him on the practice squad. It did not happen. So I just want to clear that up. Ridgeway made the roster. He got cut after week 1. I see that happen a lot. It's not your fault, Smalls. It happens. A lot of people believe that because he got cut early in the season, and I can understand that. So Tommy Akingbasotay, Justin Rogers, defensive tackles. They seem to say, okay, those are the guys the last 2 years we'll get rid of. But everybody else, all the other rookies made the roster. Veteran, that was a bit of a surprise here. Israel Mukuamu feels like a surprise to me. Until I really listen to what Eberflus had to say, until I really watched and looked at Izzy and said, should I be though? You know, Flus, they asked him about Israel Mukuamu, and he talked about how he's kind of a jack of all trades, joker, wild card guy all over the place. And the more I think about it, y'all let me know, I don't know if that's necessarily a strength for or a positive thing for Matt Eberflus in regards to DBs. He doesn't come off to me as a guy that wants defensive backs that play 3 different positions. He comes off as a guy that wants his defensive backs to be good at this specific thing because that's where he wants to put you. And Israel Mukuamu's strength under Quinn and his time in the league is that, hey, man, I could go play a safety. I can go play cornerback. I can go in the slot against big guys. That's kind of been his thing. So while I thought that was a good thing to have, maybe it's not to Matt Eberflus. Maybe it's not. But not keeping him on a roster and keeping Booth on the roster is certainly a choice here. Certainly a choice. Not a choice that I would have made, but we'll see if that ends up biting the Cowboys in the ass. Or maybe they'll get Israel Mukuamu back on the practice squad. But I don't think having a home, Israel Mukuamu having a home, I don't think that played in his favor in this one. But the big one that everybody is talking about here is, of course, Trayshawn Holden. You asked me 2 weeks ago. I mean, I'm on record saying it 2 weeks ago on the drive of the game. I talked about Trayshawn Holden. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's making the team, man. How can he not? He's killing it at camp. He's, showed up in the beginning of the preseason, all that stuff. And then I got hit with a dose of reality from Nick Harris. Nick Harris had tweeted out about Jonathan Brooks taking first team gunner position. And that is now switched to another receiver, which we'll get to later. And I said, uh-oh. You know, yes, I'm enamored with his potential at receiver, but then there's the realistic roster stuff here. You have to play special teams. So if you guys remember, get out of here. When I went into the Rams game and we had our watch list and we talked about these receivers, for me, when it came to Trayshawn Holden, it had nothing to do with receiving. I was very confident in what we've seen from a skill standpoint at camp, and we hear about the film and things like that. I said, oh yeah, the upside is there from a receiver standpoint. I said, I want to see Trayshawn Holden do special team things, because if he can do that and do that well, then there's no doubt about it, he'll be on this roster. That's the way to get him on this roster without thinking twice about it. The problem is he was not doing that at a high level. And look, I'm not mad at him that he wasn't. I mean, this is a guy that wasn't a special teams guy. That takes some time to develop, to be trusted by the special teams, be trusted by the staff. And now we can scoff at it, no doubt about it. I get it, because if it came down to actual receiver things, I'm not even really arguing him not being on this roster. But here's where it took a turn. Jonathan Mingo went down. And I'm like, oh, this is good, because I was getting a little worried. I'm like, hey, Mingo healthy, I don't think Holden is going to be able to make this team. I think they're going to roll with another 6. Not Mingo, Holden, because of special teams. However, Mingo went down, opens up another potential spot, because I thought they were going to carry 6. Y'all know I talked about the Fab 5 faction. Well, one of those guys, and Jonathan Mingo, got hurt, opens up a spot for that into Ryan Flournoy, which put a pin in that. We're going to talk about his development later. I still believe there was going to be 6 wide receivers, and I thought that was going to come down to Brooks and Holden. And if you guys have been watching the show and seeing me tweet, I've been fighting back and forth about this. Not that it's hard for me. I'm taking Holden. But I've been fighting back and forth with what I believe the front office was going to do, and I thought they were going to lean towards Brooks because of special teams, and I get it. But I was willing to put the axe in Brooks and let Ryan Flournoy do the special teams. Well, fast forward, they ain't carrying 6. They're only carrying 5. And that leaves Holden out. And we're going to see if he makes it through waiver wires. The Cowboys usually don't have a problem with this. I know a lot of people, get upset and worried. Yes, they lost Isaiah Land. Yes, they lost Julius Woods the last couple years. Those guys have 114 combined snaps in 3 combined years in the league. So I don't think they're really sweating losing those 2 guys. In fact, I think Isaiah Land just got cut. Holden feels a little different because the room this year, I know how I feel since you brought in Pickens. Love the room. I love how it's lined up. But the room moving forward, there is question marks. And he felt like he could be a part of the solution moving forward. But as I said at the whole start of this whole thing, him going from 6 to 3 or 4 was going to be tough. So that's where we're at with it. And again, we'll break it down a little bit more once we get to the offensive side. So did I hit the surprise ones? I know outside of a King Basote, I don't think that was a surprise cut. But I think Holden felt like a surprise in most of y'all. And Israel McQuammel as well. I mean, choosing Booth over Izzy to me is just, they really must didn't like how Izzy looked out there. Really must didn't like it. Jeremy say, I think Amendola is the last big one. And honestly, bro, if we're talking about a guy 2000 and what was Amendola, 6 or something like that, I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Not you, just like if that's all we have, I think we should feel okay in letting some of these guys go, hoping they come back. Fairweather is good, and we're going to talk about Fairweather later. I don't know if it's necessarily a surprise though. I do think the top 3 tight ends felt pretty safe, but I liked what he's shown, and I hope we can get him back for sure. VTC said rather would have cut Schoonmaker than Fairweather. I think a lot of people would have been on that train for sure. For sure. Tex said, who was a receiver that went on to become a really good receiver? Are you talking about Jimmy Smith? Or Amendola? Amendola had a good career, but it's not a whole lot of players the Cowboys cut over last decade. Wasn't a whole lot. All right, now let's get into the guys that made the team, Cowboys Nation. By the way, do me a favor. If you're jumping up in here, hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe if you're enjoying what you see here. Small said, surprised he only carried 9 linemen. We talked about this on the collective. I asked if they were going to, I put this out there to the panel. I said, hey, 8-9 linemen. Is it far-fetched to go short there? And that's what they did. Let's start with the defensive side. And let's just get straight to it. Defensive tackle. Because let's be real here. The defensive line, front seven, is really what's going to dictate how well this defense can be. And a position that has been the most talked about, and rightfully so, position has been defensive tackle. And to be real with y'all, I'm not surprised at this list. Osa Odighizuwa, Solomon Thomas, Mozzie Smith, Jay Toia, and Perion Winfrey. It doesn't surprise me for a lot of reasons. And I know some people will be like, well, I'm surprised Mozzie made the team. If you really know our squad, as most of you do, you know damn well they're not getting rid of a first-round pick after 2 seasons. It's not going to happen. But then there's not a whole lot of big one-tech bodies in the room unless you're going to get rid of them and replace them. There's not a whole lot of one-tech bodies in the room. And that is, just keep it a buck. Just keep it a buck. That is the biggest conversation right now in Cowboys Nation at that specific position. And it's not just one specific player. I think it's the unit in general. And if you guys know me, I've thrown out different names throughout the offseason. And one of the big names was CJ Okoye, who has been released by the Baltimore Ravens. If you're not familiar with CJ Okoye, go check him out. I think he will come in and he'd be better than both your nose tackle / one techs right now. The film is clear. This kid has high upside. I put the word out a couple weeks ago for my guy Broadus to go talk to his gang of 7. He ended up talking to a guy in Baltimore, and he said usually these guys will be like, we're gonna get him back here. He's still XYZ. Broadus said, nah, they love this kid. They think he's a good player, and they're really hoping that he makes it through waivers to get him back. The problem is he was stuck behind 2 veteran nose tackles, one who is extremely good, and Travis Jones, the other who John Jenkins, who's been around the league and just knows the game. And that's why I brought him up, because he was stuck behind 2 vets. So we'll see. And if you listen to Nick Harris, sorry, Nick, for throwing this out here, he did say that they're doing their due diligence. So I'm praying that they take a look at this kid and maybe they can bring him on. But it's still, I'm not saying he's a savior, but I think he has more promise than what's in the room right this current moment. With all that said, let's get back to the Mozzie Smith discussion here. I'm going to nauseate this thing. I'm just going to keep it a bean. All you got to do, and let me pull this up. Don't take my word for it in that they're still trying to figure this thing out with Mozzie Smith. There are still questions about if he can fit this thing. There's still uncertainty. Don't take my word for it. I said it to you guys the other day on the collective. Listen to Eberflus, listen to Mozzie himself, and listen to Brian Schottenheimer. Honestly, if you listen to Shotty, again, let me try to pull this up. If you listen to Shotty talk about Mozzie Smith and Perion Winfrey, the difference in his tone and what he's saying is night and day. I know a lot of people are going to point towards what Coach Shotty talked about with Winfrey when he came in and he got emotional and all that. Look, that's a great story. That's awesome. But it's what he said towards the end of that presser that was a bigger deal to me. But again, don't listen to me. This is Brian Schottenheimer on Mozzie Smith. Shouts out to our guy John Machota with the question. Let me know if y'all hear this.
What made the difference for Mozzie Smith for you guys to keep him on the roster? Obviously, he was playing in the final preseason game.
Yeah, it's a fair question, and that was part of the conversation with Mozzie, that, hey, nothing is guaranteed. We're all competing, and you've got your 53-man roster, but then you've got your game day roster. And
I want to stop right there because I heard that, and I want to text for and say, hey, is Mozzie not playing on game day? I just don't understand why. What is the need to say that? Let's take a listen again.
That, hey, nothing is guaranteed. We're all competing, and you've got your 53-man roster, but then you've got your game day roster. And again, the message was the same. I thought Mozzie had two of his best practices last week. Thought he played well, had flashes during the game. Just okay yesterday. And so, again, the conversation and having hard conversations, some coaches might be like, yeah, hey, I'll just deal with that when we get back. But
having hard conversations. There's a 53-man roster. There's a game day roster. But so if everything was hunky-dory and good to go here, there's no hard conversations to have. Why are we talking about 46 and 53? Just some tea leaves that are interesting. I have no idea if he's going to suit up on game day, but I just thought that part was very interesting.
I wanted Mozzie to know that, this has nothing to do with you being a first-round draft pick. There's an
now that I think he's lying about, but I'll get to that in a second.
Expectation of you as a player because of how talented you are, and we've seen it. We just need to see it on more of a consistent basis. And
when we say it, we're bad guys. When we say, hey, man, we got to see it more, bruh. These little flashes from time to time is cool if we're not relying on you. We're relying on you. You first round pick. And you can try to ignore that, but Mozzie has not ignored that. Shotty is not ignoring that. I'm not going to ignore that. We need more. That's just the bottom line. But yeah, we'll run this back one more time. Not the whole thing, but
this has nothing to do with you being a first-round draft pick.
Liar. I love you, Shotty. That's a lie to me. I will say this. There are people in that building that are okay with finding a better fit. Then there's the general manager who's like, what? No, it's not happening. He's making this team. So that's where we're at with it. Now, shouts out to Machota, who followed up with, and a great question. No one ever has asked these coaches this specific question. Maybe they might have asked Mike McCarthy. He said, hey, man, there's people that say you don't have the total control over the roster. And Shotty, of course, being the gift of gab guy that he is, oh, well, it's a collective thing, et cetera, et cetera. You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie. Jerry Wayne Jones is not getting rid of a first-round pick after 2 years, even if there is fit questions, even if there is inconsistency questions, even if there is mental questions. And that's just the reality of it. This is not me trying to pile on. This is not any of that, because as you guys have known, I said it back when we did our review, the odds were he's going to be on this team and you're going to need him. So hopefully we would see vast improvement in camp in a preseason to where we would feel extremely confident going into the season. I don't think the Cowboys coaching staff saw that. I don't really think, if you're being completely honest with yourself, as Cowboy fans, you really saw that. But guess what? You're boxed. We are boxed in a corner to where you did nothing to upgrade from him, and you only have two bigger bodies. So Mozzie Smith on this team. Now he's not going to start probably, or if he starts, he's not going to play more snaps than likely Solomon Thomas. It looks like Solomon Thomas and Osa are going to be your guys because they fit the scheme and things like that. But that doesn't mean You want your nose tackle / one tech to go 290. No. You really don't want that. You still want a bigger body that can do the things you ask them to do. And again, let's take this back to Mazi. What he said. He came out and said, hey man, yeah, I got to keep getting off the ball. That's what they're asking for. He came out when asked about the doubles. Hey, they don't give a damn about them doubles. He said they don't care about the doubles. I have to turn the doubles into singles. He said that. There have been people that have been poo-pooing the mental aspect of what Mazi has been dealing with as a player in this league. I've seen people poo-poo it, which I'll stand on it based off of my sources from his rookie year and even right now. And now I don't even really worry about no damn sources. Just listen to Mazi Smith. When we say, hey man, there is a legitimate mental thing with him, it ain't just bullshit. You see it. But listen.
What do you think you have grown as a player from the first day you got here to where we are right now?
It's all up here. That's all. I think physically, man, I'm physically dominant. You can tell that by looking at me. But in terms of putting my game on the field and all my traits on the field, it's all up here.
Guys, I ain't make that up. It's all up here. Physically, but it's all up here. He said that. I saw somebody the other day when I brought this up was like, why are you paying attention to what Mazi Smith says? What? From the horse's mouth. You know, it's astonishing to me. It's astonishing to me. He's sitting here telling you, man, yeah, there's a mental part of this thing that I'm working through. And you see it. That's why I think most of the inconsistencies are there. Now the difference is schematic fit. That's where things have taken, if you want to call it a turn. He was improving in the back half, later part of the year under a scheme and coaching that favored him. That was 10 months ago, 9-10 months ago. New staff, new scheme. And he admitted, hey, I'm used to taking up doubles. That's what I like to do. It's different for me. It's because I think I can just take the double. That's what he wants to do. And you see it in how he attacks it. But those other guys, I think they're a little bit different because they look different. The film is different because they fit the scheme. Now listen to Coach Schottenheimer talk about the difference between him talking about Mazi and him talking about Perion Winfrey. 1 second here. Hold on. There we go.
Let's turn the film on and let the film speak to these guys. And that's honestly one of the things about Nick's question about Perion. I mean, you turn the film on and that guy is a disruptive, badass football player. Let's turn the film on and let the film speak to these guys. And that's honestly one of the things about Nick's question about Perion. I mean, you turn the film on and that guy is a disruptive, badass football player.
He ain't lying. He definitely this Atlanta Falcons game. Perion Winfrey was playing like a man possessed. Perion Winfrey was, and he's always played with a hunger. There's just a complete difference in how you see him attacking. And when I brought Vacho on the other couple weeks ago, we talked about how, look, Perion Winfrey was in the UFL. Perion Winfrey understands this could be his last go about it. And I get it. Everybody wants to talk about coach and the emotional side of it. And man, shouts out to him because he humanized the player there. But on the field, you see it, man. He plays with such tenacity. And from a skill standpoint, you see things, not just, I don't even use the term flash, but you see a good bit of it each game, right? He has an impressive bag. And maybe he's like, look, this is my last chance. And he's just going out there. Last game of the year, Bob, can't hold anything back. every game. He plays like that. I mean, but he has an impressive bag. There's 6'4". He has the length that Coach Flus likes from a size standpoint, arm length standpoint. He's a quick guy. He's more of a 3-tech guy. I think he's 6'4", like 295 or something like that, somewhere around there. He has a great stab, uses that one arm, uses his leverage, peaks and sheds. He has a rip move that he likes to use. He has an impressive bag, and he has versatility. I've seen him line up at 1, and we've seen him at 3. We've seen him at 5. Hell, they've lined him out wide, which I don't really want to see that happen with Perrion Winfrey too much. However, I would like him more focused on the interior, but I think they're just seeing what they can do, and if they decide to do some odd fronts, Winfrey can do 5-tech things. He is kind of a prototypical 5-tech in today's game. Maybe not in yesteryear's game, but in today's game, I think, 6'4", 6'5", 295-ish. I think that fits. Okay, Vikings just traded. The other thing you see with Perrion Winfrey, and let me just let this keep running. Actually, you know what? Sometimes they be acting funky, so I ain't gonna do that. The other thing you see with Perrion Winfrey, and Vosh talked about this a lot. He talks about whooping feet. Right? I love that term, whooping feet. He be slapping hands too. I mean, this guy is a hand fighter. And I think that's the difference that you see with him and Mazi. And really Mazi and a lot of these guys is, and he said, I'm learning from these guys that have that quick twitch or have that ability to get off the doubles. You see Winfrey constantly fighting, slapping hands, trying to get off the block, as well as whooping feet. And then you add the ass whoop to it. It's like, okay, yeah, there's room for you on this roster. He damn sure ain't the savior, but there is room for you on this roster, Cowboys Nation. So he thought he was going to get cut. Coach went in there and was like, nah, man, you're making the team. He earned that. That was not given to him. He earned that roster spot. If it was up to me, I would. We'll see. We haven't got a chance to see Solomon Thomas, but boy, that's a light 1-2. That's a light 1-2. Winfrey's he's not much bigger. Like Thomas is yoked, and he might be stronger. He's stouter, that's for sure. But Winfrey, I think, it has the length. He's not the answer. I still think you need a bigger body at the 3-tech at the 1-tech no tackle spot that can still do the things you want out of the scheme. Hence why I like the guy CJ Okoye. Is he going to be the twitchiest guy? Is he going to be the lightning quick up the field guy like Osa? No, but what he lacks in that, or what he may not be at a high level from that, he makes up with his length. He makes up with his power. He makes up with his ability to get down the line, shed blocks, make doubles into ones. I like him coming in here if they could do it. So, look, I know this was a hot topic. I wanted to get it out the way first. There's a lot of fans that think, oh, just piling on, oh yeah, Mazi this, Mazi that. I mean, it is a fair discussion. And if you're not being biased to the conversation and you're watching him and you're watching others, you're listening to him, you're listening to the coaches, there is still a part of them that are like, I don't know, man. And we're at a situation right now. I don't got time for I don't know. I don't got time for every time they talk about him, it's always about inconsistencies. If he don't fit, he don't fit. Let him go be somewhere where he fits and get somebody in here that does. Don't listen to me. Listen to Coach how he talks about him, and listen to Coach how he talks about Winfrey. And get mad at them. Y'all get mad at us for bringing them up and keeping it a buck about them. Get mad at them. Don't get mad at us, man. Linebackers. Jack Sanborn, Kenneth Murray, Maris Leofau, Shamar James, Damone Clark. No surprises here. But I will say this. Kenneth Murray getting bubble wrapped was a surprise. That was a surprise. I get it. He's making like $7 million a year, or this year, off the trade. I was starting to get the impression with him not playing a whole lot in camp and just really quiet. I mean, has anyone had a quieter camp? Maybe Tolbert, but even Tolbert, Tolbert here, Tolbert there. I don't think I've heard a damn lick of anything about Kenneth Murray, and didn't play in preseason. So that shocked me a little bit. However, if Jack Sanborn is going to be my middle linebacker, y'all, I can live with Murray starting off and seeing what he got as will. If you guys go back and listen to the show where we talked about some of the moves being made, y'all know I'm a fan of Jack Sanborn. I think as a middle linebacker, specifically in this scheme that requires you guys to be instinctual, get downhill, all that good stuff, I think he does it well. I think he has a high IQ and he gets to the ball. I kept saying, if it's Murray, that's my middle linebacker, I'm a little hesitant because you see a lot of the times there's reluctancy to meet guys in the hole. There's a more of a finesse to his game. He'll light you up if he gets a free, clean shot, which is why I would like him at, will, so he can roam around more free. So if Sanborn's my green dot middle guy and Murray's my will, I can roll with that and see what's up. But if he ain't the guy, Maris Leofau certainly could be that guy that could play back next to Jack. But I do think Sanborn, Murray, Leofau are your three backers when they go traditional Mike, Will, Sam. You're not going to see that a whole lot, but you'll see it from time to time when teams try to go big. One thing you'll notice about the Zimmers and the Eberfluses of the world, they ain't going to roll out no damn big nickel to your 12 and 13 personnel. You can forget about it. Shamar James, fantastic offseason for the young man. Again, 5th round pick. He wasn't getting cut, but he earned that, in my opinion. There's some upside to him. Smaller guy, but there's some upside to him. He flashed a whole lot. Really, really good game at the end, to end preseason. And Damone Clark has looked, a lot better under Matt Eberflus and Dave Borgonzi. Those guys are legit. Those guys are legitimate linebacker whispers. Legitimate. So this linebacker group, I'm good with it. If you guys go back and watch the Mina Kimes show, I think I said this to Foots or Vach. We were talking to Mina Kimes about, hey, what units concern you, et cetera. And she said number 1 was linebacker. Now look, Mina, love you. But I was like, well, let me do this for you, Mina. Instead of like going crazy, I said, I disagree. But go take a look at Jack Sanborn and Maris Leofau. She was like, oh, yeah, I like Jack, and we'll see what's up with Maris. I think this room is going to be solid. I do. I think they have the potential to be better than solid if the guys up front can play better. But even with that, I think they'll be pretty solid. Yeah. Everybody cool with the linebacker room. Also, mind you, I ain't talk about the Marvin Overshown. Now, I said this before, I don't know that we can even really put too much into the DeMarvion Overshown stop because he's coming off a second consecutive ACL injury. But boy, if it's one guy I hate to doubt, it is that one. It's just something about him that it doesn't matter what happens. I feel like he'll overcome it. But I'm not going to get my hopes up that he's going to come in here and pick up right where he left off. So, this group is going to be very important to get it together. Defensive ends. Micah Parsons, Dante Fowler, Marshawn Nealon, Donovan Izaraku, Sam Williams, James Houston. Talk about a guy that earned it. It was getting to a point, boy, where it's like, I don't know what you got to do, but I don't know how you're watching this guy's toolbox. And you're like, he don't got a lot of moves in there. He don't have a lot of weapons, a lot of tools. I think he has the top 3 bag on the team. And he wasn't afraid to show it. Now, is he a smaller guy? Sure. But guess what? James Houston, to me, is going to be a designated pass rusher. That's all he is. I'm not bringing him in there to play early downs. I'm bringing him to play 3rd and 1. He is a DPR. Same thing for Donovan Izaraku during this rookie year to start off. DPR guy. That's why I think you're going to see Marshawn Nealon as a starter opposite of Micah Parsons. If we get him in week 1. Now, I know you can say, hey, man, we're burying the lead here with Micah Parsons. I should have grabbed the tweet. Let me just say, man, I'll read it. Because, I'm pretty much numb to this whole damn situation. And it's not necessarily that I'm numb to this specific discussion. Because it is a very important situation happening here if he doesn't play week 1, which It sounds like Coach Shoddy believes he will. And I'm trying to put the pieces together here. Coach Schottenheimer said he talked to Micah, for an hour because, he was laying on the table and, boy, that went crazy, and the body language. And that's a real discussion. So he said he talked to Micah for an hour, what have you. And Shoddy's a great communicator. I'm pretty sure he was able to, like he said, I'm great at breaking down, wall barriers when it comes to that. I think he was talking about that with Diggs. However, he mentioned, there may be a ramp-up period for Micah. He's not going to play 75 snaps. So I wonder if he had a conversation, he knows he's going to play, but he's not going to play a whole lot, which that's the scary part. Aside from the contract and all that hoopla, the scary part is, okay, now we've not done any legitimate on-field football stuff, and if it doesn't happen until next week, Micah's not going to be able to play a whole lot against a division opponent. That's what worries me. Even if the encouraging sign is that he is going to play. Now, from a contract standpoint, I'll just read my tweet. If Netflix made a show called Cowboys Contract Disputes, it'd already be on season 10 with the same exact plot every year. These writers refuse to switch it up, and maybe that's why I'm numb to it. There's an old saying in Tennessee, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again. And that's George Bush. And then I went on to list the 10 different scenarios. 2015, Des Bryant with Rock Nation. He was tagged, contract dispute dragged out. 2018, 2019, D-Law. David Cantor who was the agent, was tagged twice, contract dispute dragged out. 2019, Rocky Arsenault. Remember Rocky Arsenault? He's currently the agent for T. Higgins. And Jamar Chase, by the way. Held out, contract dispute, dragged out. 2020 and 2021, Dak Prescott with Todd France, who, if you go listen to Todd France after he signed him last year, kind of gave us game on how Cowboys like to use the media as a weapon. And I'll get to this in a second. Tagged twice, contract dispute, dragged out. 2023, Zach Martin, Todd Condon, agent. Held out, contract dispute, dragged out. 2024, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, but CeeDee Lamb's agent's Tory Dandy. Held out, contract dispute, dragged out. 2025, Micah Parsons, agent David Mulugeta, held in, contract dispute, dragged out. Listen, if this was one time, this was two times, I'd be like, hey, look, man, this is not normal. Something's going on. This is man. I just named 10, really 11 different times this has happened since 2015 in the last decade. I'm just not as moved. Now, there is a human side to this factor, and you see it with Micah is very he's miserable. Let's be real. This kid loves football. He wants to be out there, but he thinks he's doing something that is helpful to the business aspect. If I had to speak on it hindsight wise, I think he shouldn't have reported. I think he shouldn't have reported, and he should have just remained quiet. Because one thing you're not going to do is you're not going to win the war of the media with Jerry Jones. It's not happening. You don't have a lot of leverage. We talked about that before. You were better off just staying at the crib, doing your workouts on the side. I know what he wanted to do. I don't want to get fined. I want to show up, be here. And honestly, that might help him once he gets on the field because he's talking to the coordinators in the meeting rooms and things like that, helping the guys, etc. But from a contract standpoint, your best bet was to pull in Ezekiel Elliott, not go to Cabo. Your best bet was to do the CeeDee Lamb thing. You're not Dak. You don't got that leverage, Dak straight up and Todd France said it. Dak was like, I'm cool. They can't tag me. I'm gonna be a free agent. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Yeah, hey, if this is my last stop here, cool. No big deal. Let's go play. They ain't have too much leverage, man. And again, this is just hindsight. I would have just sat home. Not home. I shouldn't say that. I would have not reported. I would have not played war of words in the media. Not that he was talking a whole lot, but the tweet, likely the tweet doing the details. I know, and Micah's a guy that wears his emotions on his sleeve. I know that was probably, or it is probably tearing him up, hearing, going on all these media tours and talking about, the contract publicly. But that is the MO. That's the playbook here. That's the playbook here, man. And once you enter that arena, you now become part of the game. Why you think Dad said, oh, Jerry, leave me alone. Go talk to Rock Nation. Don't talk to me. You know he the gambler. Hey, Micah, I want to talk to you. Come here, man. I want to talk to you about this leadership thing. I think there's some things we can do some leadership thing. Cool. Now that I got you here, what you think about this number? What you think about that number? Oh, sounds good, man, but let's rap to my agent. I don't need it. And here we are. So I'm not privy to the details. Devils are always in the details, so I don't like to get into the number things. But I don't think it's a coincidence we hear the big round carrot numbers. We don't know nothing about the details behind that. And that part of it I stay away from, but there is a humanized side to this thing where I think I'll say, Mike, I don't think Jerry's moved at all from an emotional standpoint. I think Jerry loves this part. He talks about art of war and negotiations, and this he loves this. Hell, he's perfectly fine with Micah Parsons not practicing. You heard him say it. Well, man, keeps him healthy. Jerry's on tour. We got the Netflix special. He's not moved one bit. I got 3 years of control. It's not bothering him at all. And you're not going to win in the media. So that's what I would say. He probably should have just did his thing on the side like Zach, like CD, Dez, Zeke. And that's not a great thing. But from a business standpoint, stepping in that arena with that man, you ain't winning that, bro. You're not winning that. And he's not. Masterful job. Masterful by Jerry. Boy, I mean, look, I think I know how I feel about him as a general manager, but when it comes to manipulating the media, being an owner, getting your team in the spotlight, you heard what the man said. Hey, man, when it's quiet, let's stir this thing up. Oh, he is a master. Nobody better. He's done a masterful job at it. Masterful job. All right, back to the defensive side here. No surprises, though, right? Dante Fowler, Marshawn, Dono, Sam. Some people thought Sam wouldn't make this team. I wasn't too worried about Sam not making the team, but big year for Sam. Hopefully Sam contract year shows up. Safeties, Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, Y.A. Thomas, Marquise Bell. No surprise there, correct? Like, we believed all these guys would make the squad. I will say this, Malik and Dono, this is likely, hell, I'll be honest, maybe this whole room, depending what happens with it, you could see Flus next year look to overhaul the room. And that's not me being down on all these guys, because, Malik's been here for a minute, Dono's been here for a minute, YA's on year 4, Marquise on year 3. If they don't see what they like, it wouldn't shock me if there's a bit of an overhaul in this room next year. And again, not a knock on these guys. It's just a couple of these dudes, I think, on the last year of their deals. And there's a lot of, I don't want to say question marks, but when it comes to long term, I don't think there's long term security in the room. I do think right now you're fine. And then cornerback. Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, Kyer Elam, Andrew Booth. What did we call him last year, y'all? Andrew Wilkes Booth. Kalen and Zion Childress, baby. We did it. I ain't gonna lean into the Andrew Booth and Kalen Carson thing. I wouldn't have. However, Carson could end up on IR. I would IR him. If they don't want to give up on a kid, that's cool. Put his ass on IR, let him redshirt the second year and come back next year. We'll see what happens. I thought they should have did that going into the season, but whatever. Andrew Booth, come on, what are we doing? But Zion Childress, man. Dro, can I still play corner? Hey, Zion Childress, another dude who earned it. Perion Winfrey, James Houston, Zion Childress earned that roster spot. And I was a Keemon Hall fan coming into this thing. Keemon Hall started to trend upwards. But Zion just fits. Go look at their game of the drive of the game a couple weeks ago. Go look at just his games in general. He just fits. We're going to have Corey on. I think his name's, apologies if I just screwed that up, from, I believe it's Match Quarters. He'll be on next week as we break down this Eagles defense. You know how we do during game weeks. We discuss both sides of the ball from our opponents. But I'm going to ask him about Flus's defense again, because he's the one who really kind of publicly came out and talked about that. And I love that he did it, because when you really watch Flus's scheme, that slot corner is so important in the run game. It's so important to be physical. He blitzes a lot. And boy, does Zion Childress have a physical demeanor to him. He is quick as hell. The twitch is there. The trigger is there. Yes, there's going to be growth and some growing pains from a coverage standpoint, particularly likely in the zone as he's figuring things out. But boy, that aspect of the game, it fits like an OJ glove. Well, it fits. It fits. So shouts out to Zion Childress making the team. Now back to my concerns about the room for week one. I teased this earlier. Y'all, we do realize here's going to be the corners week one likely. Deron Bland, Kyer Elam, Andrew Booth, Zion Childress. That's all you got right now. Kalen Carson's not healthy, not ready. Trayvon Diggs is likely not going to play. So where do we go from here, Cowboys Nation? Are we trying to get somebody back on the practice squad, call them up, Troy Pride or something like that? Are they going to go out and grab a veteran corner? Or just any corner off of waivers or in free agency? I'm skeptical about them going into week one with 4 corners. Look, I'm not a big fan of Andrew Booth. Zion Childress is a rookie. I'm excited about him and everything, and he's likely going to have to just go in there and just get thrown in the fire. And I do think certain aspects of the game he will show up. A lot to ask for the young man going up against Philly on the road in week one. But that aside, there's still bodies that you have on that you're going to need. Going to need more than 4. You're going to need more than 4. So let me go look at this cut list real quick. Here, I mean cornerbacks. Do we bring back Keemon Hall? I'm cool on Robert Rochelle. I'm cool on the kid from UFL. Man, that's all I got. That's all I got. They're going to bring back CJ Goodwin. We know how that always goes. There's going to be, we'll get to the other side of the ball. They're likely going to IR guy and bring him on, but he's not playing corner. So I need to know what the move is. I wish somebody would have asked. I mean, he wasn't going to tell us, but they would have asked Coach Shotty, hey, we're looking at 4 healthy corners going into week one. What is the move? What is the move? I do like the thought of that one right there, Small. Says, what about Beanie Bishop out of Pittsburgh who got released, the cornerback? I think he had a productive season. Or him, or it was another guy. They have another slot guy, I think it was. Played really well last year too. So yeah, I'm curious on what they're going to do. So there you have it, Cowboys Nation. That is, the Cowboys 53-man roster on the defensive side for now. We may see some moves heading over. We may see some different moves. All right, before I get to the offensive side, I do want to shout out today's sponsor, Mando. And don't get it twisted. We're going to have a couple different ones throughout this football season, but I really fool with Mando, America's #1 body deodorant formula. We still in the summer. It's still hot. Now it's getting nice up here on the East Coast, and I appreciate that coming from Texas. But Mando's got you covered in this nasty weather. If it's one thing you don't want to mess around with, it is your deodorant. Mando's deodorant plus sweat control is built for this season. It blocks odor. It controls the sweat. It's powerful on the pits, but it's gentle on the skin. It's not your typical, drugstore deodorant. And I've been using that, right? But when I got my Mando order, and I started using Mando. It was a game changer. The smell was great. You know, my wife was even like, yeah, this is legit. You know, not saying I'm out here stinking or nothing like that, but she could tell the difference of the smell from the normal deodorants and the Mando deodorants. And it lasts up to 72 hours as well. Here's what you can do. You can go to shopmando.com. They have a starter pack for new customers. Very solid. It comes with that stick deodorant, comes with the cream tube, and it has a couple other free products that they offer as well. And for the new customers, you get $5 off this starter pack with the exclusive code STEEL, STEELE. That's equivalent to 40% off in the starter pack. So go to shopmando.com. Use the promo code STEELE. STEEL. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. With that said, get a sip of water, take a drink. Be right back.
You're listening to Skywalker Steel.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions.
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. We'll do it live.
Who said that? Somebody said this roster is 40% off. Y'all ain't right. Y'all ain't right, man. Hey, I seen y'all over there calling. We'll get to you there in a second, man. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line if you guys want to talk after we get through this roster. I'll start mixing in here on the second half of the show. I'll start mixing in some calls as well. Shouts out to you. Again, 351-999-3787. It feels good to be back. Feels good. If you missed it earlier, because we do have more people joining in here. The new schedule for this season: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We are live 9:15 a.m. Eastern for the morning show. That does not mean this is the only content you will get. It is just for the live aspect of it. Now that is scheduled or subject to change based off of, hey, Cowboys have a Thursday game, Cowboys have a Monday game, Saturday game, whatever it may be. That is subject to change. And y'all just may bully me into just doing more. I mean, it is what it is. Y'all just might be like, hey, Sky, we need you on a little bit more, so get your ass in here. Fair enough, right? And like I said earlier, we'll still do the Sky and Two Eyes show. At the very least once a week, sometimes maybe twice, and I'll have other content going throughout the channel. So we back, man. We back. We ain't going nowhere. Appreciate y'all. We are up to almost 11,000 subscribers on the channel. Almost 11,000. Wow. And we really start getting started in what? March. Introduced the channel in January. March, we kind of got back to things. So that's look. To y'all, thank you. Thank you. We'll continue to grow this thing, and we'll see where this takes us. 9:15 Eastern, the Guru. 9:15 Eastern. Hey, Texas T, I'm gonna keep telling you, I do my own thing. In between the cuts, do my own thing. All right, let's get to the offensive side of this ball. Let's get to the offensive side. Quarterback. Easy. Dak Prescott, Joe Milton. I feel like Will Grier will get a wink for the practice squad. However, Shotty came out and said Joe Milton is a Cowboys QB2. Now listen, Joe had his struggles to start preseason, and it really didn't click to me. And we were talking about this on the Sky and Two Eyes show. That look, it's clear what they're doing. They're just hiding everything. They're not even remotely doing anything to help him from a schematic standpoint, because it's vanilla. It's drop back, win with your head, and Joe just wasn't hitting those layups playing as a drop back quarterback. Game 3, I'm not saying they went all creative for Joe, but you can see it was more of a structure to help Milton. And boy, he looked a lot better. You saw him play with that confidence. You saw him hit the layups and deliver. Obviously, by far his best moment of the offseason, and looked more like the Joe that we saw in that Buffalo game. But the first 2 games was definitely not encouraging and disappointing to me because, I still feel like that there is something to Joe Milton from a developmental standpoint. Keeping him around and developing him. That's why I was happy that, hey, you got 3 years of control. There's no need to rush this here. There's no need to even get up in arms one way or the other. Just let him develop. So I'm still big on letting him develop, and clearly they are too. So Joe Milton, QB2. And if something happens to Dak Prescott, I do think you'll see aspects of this offense tweaked, but it won't necessarily affect the foundation of the offense, in my opinion. Yeah, fan, definitely. I know what you're talking about, Sir Lawrence. I believe he was the lead blocker for Joe Milton. And look, I'm not even asking Joe to be a runner in that sense. Joe to be a scrambler. Initially, you run a read option, but I don't think he's a runner like that. He's just athletic. Just athletic. We got a call. Let's get to a call right quick. 202, you are live.
Hello.
202, what it do?
Is Skywalker Steel?
Yes,
this
indeed.
Is Big Amish. Just wanted to ask you about how the practice squad is going to materialize, and if you could explain how if another team wants to pick a player from the practice squad, poach him.
Shouts out to you, Big.
Does that player?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Does
finish.
that player have any? Does that player have any discretion? In other words, could he refuse to go, or is he automatically picked? I mean, that's
a great question that I don't think a lot of people really know. But yes, the player and his representation can let them know, because I'm not sure exactly the hierarchy of it. If it's the team contacts the player's representation or the team contacts the team, but they have the ability to say match an offer or give them a deal to bring him up to the practice squad. This happened to a good example of this for the Cowboys, Blake Jarwin. Blake Jarwin, years ago, the Eagles,
you're right.
Believe it or not, the Eagles were trying to poach him from the practice squad. And him and his people went to Dallas, or they had a conversation, and Dallas elected to sign him to the active roster to circumvent that from happening. So it's not just, hey, we want him off the practice squad. There's nothing you can do about it. He's on our team. There is discussion. And if the Cowboys say, hey, Trayshawn Holden, it was nice, but we're going to go ahead and let you get poached by whomever, they can do that. Or they can say, well, we don't want you to get poached. We're going to put you on the active roster and we'll sign you to a contract. So it's not as cut and dry.
Okay. All right, yeah, because I always want to know how that actually works, what changes there were, because, I remember that with Blake Jarwin, you're right. And then still on the topic of the practice squad, is there a difference between veterans being on the practice squad and being called up to the active game day roster versus rookies, or, when they're not considered vets? I forget what the cutoff is. And could you explain that, and how many times can they be called up for game day?
From my understanding, during the season, it doesn't matter whether you're a rookie or a vet. You have 3 opportunities to be called up, and after the 3rd time, you have to be signed to the active roster. So the only difference from, I don't even call it practice squad, the only difference between getting cut, waived, et cetera, like that before the season for veterans and rookies is the rookies they have to go through the waiver. So they have to go through, the whole day of waiver wire to see if somebody picks them up. Vested veterans do not. Vested veterans usually get that old wink, wink from certain teams. Dallas, we've seen them do it, where they don't go through the waiver. They just go on the free agent list. And then once the Cowboys or any other team decides to play roster gymnastics, they'll sign that guy back to the roster. So, but once the season starts, the rules are the rules for everyone. Whether you're a vested veteran or a rookie, you have 3 opportunities that you're allotted to be called up throughout the season. And then after that third one, you have to be signed to the roster.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, now, where do you see Deuce Vaughn making it through waivers? Because I really love Deuce Vaughn, Mighty Mouse. I want only for. I mean, I love the underdog, and I mean that young man spark to him. That's all I could say, especially on the edges, and that's what we need. That I know we have Jaden Blue and Miles Sanders, but man, that I just hate to lose someone who I really have a lot of hope and trust in him.
I sit at the head of the table of the short kings. Okay, so there's a short king bias for me. Big Deuce Vaughn fan, but I'm also, we're living in reality here. I didn't think he was going to make this team. Now, do I think he makes it through waivers? Sure. There are a lot of running backs that hit waivers that have, potential to be on somebody's practice squad or potential roster if your room is that bad. Deuce is one. I think Deuce could be on somebody's practice squad or be a RB3 in someone's room or a satellite back or what have you if they got a lead back already. And again, a guy who loves Deuce's game coming out. It just never really materialized here. Did he get a fair chance often? Probably not. Did he get utilized in a role that I think suited him best, at least early, and that to me was as a satellite back? Absolutely not. I know he didn't get a chance to be a satellite back, but then there's limitations to special teams, and Coach talked about that. He cannot do special teams things, and if you can't do special teams things, I said this months ago, if he's not going to be a guy you rely on special teams, if he's not going to be a guy you trust, religiously to be a pass blocker, boy, he better be one of the best damn runners in the conference, right? And I don't think that was the case. I don't think he showcased that. So now that's where we're at. That's just the reality.
Yeah, no, it is the reality as far as special teams. I agree, but I do believe he has that special talent. As a 10, give him 10, 15, reps at the tailback position, especially given Lincoln Riley is the line coach. He knows how this line is going to be functioning. He knows the spots that he could pick as they're blocking in these new schemes.
Connor.
That's all. He was of my favorite. To make it.
Look, we all have our favorite players. I get it, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if he goes somewhere where he's used to what he does best. And I do think that is being a satellite back right now. And look, I think there's potential for him to be a what's my man's name? Chargers, Eagles. It was his mentor. I'm having a brain fart.
Oh,
y'all know.
Yeah,
the other small guy, but yeah, he has potential to be that in the sense of a role player. I don't think. I mean, I know a lot of people believe Deuce could be a lead, but I ask you, how many 5'5", 170-something pound running backs are lead backs? Like 15, 20 touches.
No,
it's
there's
just
not
in
many,
the NFL. Darren Sproles, thank you, Jeremy. That doesn't happen. Darren
Yeah,
Sproles
Darren.
wasn't even that. Darren Sproles was more utilized in the pass game and as a weapon. Now he ain't Darren Sproles. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying because Darren was thicker, Darren was faster, Darren was a problem. But that's the type of role he'd have to be. You can give him the ball, hand the ball off to him a few times. He's a good runner, but he probably needs to be utilized in space as a satellite guy. And he doesn't have the special
he
teams.
snaps ankles. We saw him snap ankles.
Yeah.
I mean that is a talent. But you're right. Hopefully we could bring him back. I would love for him to be a Cowboy.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right. Hey, good stuff, Big Amish. Appreciate you calling in.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
My bad with the brain fart on Darren Sproles. Somebody said Ray. He ain't Ray Rice either. Like Ray Rice again. Ray Rice, Darren Sproles, Maurice Jones-Drew. Go. What they call him, the muscle hamster, Doug Martin. Go look at them. They're built, and look at Deuce. Hell, Maurice Jones-Drew was like what 5'8", 230 or something. It's ridiculous. A literal bowling ball. Same thing with Doug Martin. Yeah, I wouldn't put Ray Rice in that category. You can put him in another category, but I wouldn't put him in a Deuce Vaughn category. We're talking about Warrick Dunn? Man, I know we searching, but I don't even think he Warrick. But I think it's a good question. I mean, that's not a question that I've even went out and researched myself. I would love to know how many. What is Deuce? 5'5", 5'6", $170 something. I wonder how many of those guys have been lead backs in this league. I mean, shoot, we could just go history. Screw it. Just do the history. And if you can't come away with like 10, 15 dudes, that means that one or two guys is an anomaly. So we're hoping that an anomaly happens with Deuce, unfortunately. All right. You know what? Let's talk about that running back room. Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa, and Hunter Lipke. Is this the longest they've won at running back, y'all? It's the longest they've won at running back. Now, here's the thing. We got the news a couple days ago. Phil Maffa was going to hit the IR. Initially, we thought it was going to be one of the two designated to IRs that would happen. That's not the case. New reports came out. Jonathan Mingo and Peyton Turner are the two guys hitting the IR prior to the season designated to return. With that said, Phil Maffa can still go on IR now, free up a roster spot, and be designated to return after 4 games. I know it's a lot, but there's like the designated to return before the season, and there's designated to return after cutdown. And that's the one Phil Maffa is going to go on, which, again, he deserved to be on this team. I think that was their way of getting him on this team. Did he hurt his shoulder? Yes, he nicked his shoulder up, allegedly. And it wasn't the same shoulder. So you know what they did, right? How that shoulder feeling after that touchdown run? Ah, man, a little something. It's cool. Look at me. How that shoulder feeling after that touchdown run? I mean, there's a little IR. That's all they needed to hear. That's all they needed to hear. There was a little something because they needed to get him on this roster, and they felt the best way to do it was this way. Now, the other way they could have did it. Miles Sanders made this team. Asked me a week or two ago, I'd be like, nah, man. Phil was showing me what Phil showed me, right? He's a big guy, get behind the pads. Javonte Williams is clearly the one. They bubble wrapped him, another guy I was surprised about. I'm not surprised he's the one. Not surprised at that. I'm surprised they bubble wrapped him. My stance on Javonte Williams being the number one back is documented. He's a guy that has a little bit of everything for you, also plays behind his pads, fits the mold of what they want to be from a physical standpoint. But the two most important factors is a ton of experience as a pass protector and trusted pass protector, and ton of experience as a receiver out the backfield. So that to me felt like they didn't address this in the draft to where they got a top guy. So he was going to be your one. I just didn't think Miles Sanders, based off of what I had seen in Carolina, was that guy. A lot of people said don't sleep on him and this and that and this, and he looked good in underwears and all that, and that's fine. You got to go out there and play. And, Miles only played 1 game, and he was coming off of injury as well, and he just didn't give me anything to be encouraged about. However, it is what it is now. He on this team, so damn it, give me something to be encouraged about against your former team. Speaking of which, why keep him, Sky? Why not just roll with the 2 rookies? And they are rolling. Jaden Blue is on this team. Phil Maffa's on this team, but he's on IR. I'm just throwing this out there. This isn't what I believe. I'm just having this conversation. Y'all know here on this show, we are very conversational. I don't pretend to know everything. I do my research. I give y'all my opinion on said research and data. I provide context, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I know every goddamn thing. Now, if I'm told something, I'll tell y'all what I'm told. I wonder if they looked at this week 1 and week 2 games and this early part of the season in general and said, we got a We got 2 road games. We got 2 division games. We got 4 interconference games, but we got 2 division games and 2 road games. Right off the bat, we're going into a hostile environment against the Philadelphia Eagles. Do we want to roll with 2 rookies going into this game, and really only one who has gotten first team reps with QB1 and with the offensive line and et cetera, et cetera? Do we want to go into week 1 with 2 rookies in a hostile environment? And if something were to happen to a Javonte Williams or whatnot, are we going to have to be a little worried that he might miss this blitz, or he might miss this read, or he might miss it? That it's the moment may not want to say too big, but it's different than playing at Clemson. It's different than, playing at Texas is a pretty big deal, but you know what I mean? It's a different ball game when the bullets start flying and a guy like Vic Fangio who's going to throw different looks at you and try to confuse you and make you think, etc. I'm just wondering if they said, you know what? We got 4 games to figure this thing out with Maffa. Let him heal up a little bit. If this Miles Sanders thing don't work, see ya. Because to me, that's the guy. I mean, I think Javonte Williams will show and prove to be better than Miles. We'll see. I mean, he can go out there and look like trash, but he ain't got a whole lot of options, right? So I wonder if they said, we're going to go with the 2 vets, and then our rookie and Jaden Blue is going to be our satellite guy, pass catchy guy. I don't think you're going to see Jaden Blue get 15 touches in week 1. I hope you see him at least get, 8, 9. I hope he does get some touches, though, enough touches to potentially break off a big run, a big play. But I do think they will roll with with Javonte Williams as a lead. And I'm just spitballing here. I can see Javonte Williams playing roughly, 60-65% of the snaps. Unfortunately, at this point, because I ain't seen anything to be super encouraged about. Miles Sanders getting another 30, and then the rest will be Blue. It's my guess. Ain't what I want, because Miles Sanders wouldn't be on my team. If you want to go get me another back. So where y'all at with this room? Small said, yeah, rookie getting thrown into the fire against the Fangio defense is tough. It's my thought too. If you came to me, Smalls, and said Miles Sanders or the rookies, I would have just said screw it, let's roll. But I'm just thinking about what they're thinking. Ghostface said, or is it No Face, that either way, we shouldn't judge a run game the first 2 weeks. Those defenses are top 10. Yeah, so we talked about this on the collective. I don't think I'm going to be judging this run game for I shouldn't say judging. We're definitely going to be evaluating. I think the evaluation process of the run game is going to be long. I don't think this is going to be something you come away from for week 1. You're like, oh my God. Week 2, either way. Although if they go out there and look good against the Eagles. But I think this is a situation where we're probably looking at least half the year to get a good feel about this thing. Talking about new coaches, new techniques, new scheme, new backfield, questionable backfield. And it's some tough defenses earlier on. Not all tough, but some. So, yeah, I think the evaluation process is at the very least a quarter of the season. Maybe not the whole 8 games, but just give it 4 or 5 games to figure this thing out. Because, listen, go back and listen to Clayton Adams. He talked about it during the draft. He said, I came from Indianapolis. We were a wide zone, had success doing it, and went to the Cardinals, and we tried to implement that early in the season, and it didn't work. It was like, this isn't the best fit. And they had to go see live bullets for that to happen. So they tweaked it. And if you go look at how things picked up, they tweaked it and said, this works better for Connor. This works better for our guard because he does this. This works better for our center because he can pull. They tweaked it. They fixed it. And their run game has been one of the better run games over the last 2 seasons. So maybe Connor and Clayton go into this thing already knowing what these guys can do, and they don't need to see it in action. But there's also that, okay, we saw it. This doesn't work. Let's tweak it. Here we are in week 6, and it's better. So I'm with you. I don't think we should judge it too harshly early. And honestly, I don't think we should lean on it early. I know how I feel. I think your best part of your offense is your pass game, is the weapons you have, is your quarterback. It is not your backfield. It's not even your offensive line, which I like. it's your skill players and your quarterback. So you lean into that as you're developing this run game, because what you want to see from the run game is by the time you get to the end of the season, nitty gritty, you're pushing for the playoffs. You want that thing to be a well-oiled machine. So when you get into the playoffs, that becomes who you are. If I'm making sense here. All right, before we get to the next part, let's talk to our guy, Los. What's good with you, Los?
Hey, good morning, Scott. How are you?
I'm good, man. Long time no speak. How you doing?
Hey, good, man. Hey, long time no speak. But, hey, do y'all know that one, man? I mean, football season's here, man. Next week, time to fry them birds, man. Real quick to my quick points is about that 53. One person I am happy that he made the team just because solely we see not a weakness, but we see the importance of having a great linebacker play is James Houston.
Yeah, well, he's going to be a rush-in. He's going to be a rush-in, but he is built like a backer.
Yeah, exactly. And what I like about James Houston is he reads it and attacks it. There's no second guessing. And, we do need that type of, not second guessing on this team because, like, man, one thing we're always harping on is stopping that run. And if we can get Barkley or Hurts on that backfield, that'll be detrimental. And then Maffa being on this team is key as well, because I was speaking even to the law about it. Like, Holden is nice, man. I mean, Holden's a great receiver. I ain't gonna lie, but I think if this offense is gonna go anywhere this year, entirely, let's just say playoffs or anything, you have to be balanced. I don't care who you are in this football team, but if you're not running the rock and it's just a CD and Pickens, gunslinging, you're risking turnovers. You're risking just being a one-trick pony per se, right? And that can do it. I'm not saying that cannot do it, but I'm just saying you just can't win that way all the time. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Sky?
No, I mean, that's been my stance for so many years, man. In regards to the balanced approach, I've brought it up how many times on this show, y'all, in the offseason after Cowboys losing the postseason and things like that. It's like, guys, we can't continue to go into the postseason unbalanced. We can't continue to go into the postseason one-dimensional. It does not work that way. And sometimes that one-dimensional is either A, you don't have a run game that gets to the postseason and follows you, or B, you don't have a defense either. So it's usually, hey, everything's on this pass game, and that just can't happen. Especially if you don't got no damn Patrick Mahomes, and even Patrick Mahomes didn't do it. You ain't got no damn Joe Burrow, and even Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar. Even Lamar couldn't be one-dimensional. So we don't got that, and I love Dak, but that ain't who he is. So yeah, you can't go into this thing again being one-dimensional. That's why I said by the end of the year, pushing for the playoffs, you need to find some balance. If you get into the postseason. So I'm right there with you. We broke it down after the Packers lost, I think, or what have you, where it's like, look, if this is what it's going to look like, averaging 2 yards per carry, minimal carries, minimal a game plan that's not really tailored to being balanced, time and again, don't expect anything different to happen unless you got an absolutely ridiculous defense. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think one thing is how we're running the ball, right? Because I think from last year is from what you saw, from what I saw, in my opinion, is there was no scheme behind that run. We just ran into a wall, run up the middle, like, hey, let's just, do what you can, and there wasn't really no attack behind it. But I hope Shoddy, with Maffa being the backbone, like, hey, goal line situation, and Jadon Blue kind of being the lightning, and, the veterans like Sanders and whoever else we have just being key role players, I think we'll be fine. But that's all. But don't get it twisted, Scott.
I think Javonte Williams is going to be a goal line guy and I think Maffa, maybe if he gets hurt or something, but don't sleep on Javonte Williams being a goal line guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't sleep on that neither. But don't get it twisted, Scott. We are passing teams. I mean, when you have a Turpin, Pickens, and CD, I mean, there's clearly what we're gonna try to do with the ball.
Jake
but
Ferguson,
it's just
got weapons, man. Weapons.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciate the call, Los.
Giving it out there. Yeah, of course. And
Yes,
you have
sir.
a blessed morning.
You as well, bro.
Hopefully we talk Friday, and try them Eagles.
Our guy Los. straight out of Dallas. Yeah, balance. I do think they need to build towards that throughout this season. Right now, though, week 1, I ain't gonna say they shouldn't be balanced because that's okay. We're gonna break this down next week. You almost need to be if you want to pull Fangio out his bag of tricks from a coverage standpoint. Maybe arguably the best coverage scheme in the National Football League. I know how I feel about Vic. I hate the fact that he's back with them because I praised him prior. Now I feel weird praising him, but it is what it is. But to pull him out of what he wants to do from a zone standpoint, you like for him to bring one of those safeties down. You like for him to kind of fill that box up and make him honor the run game. But there's some things you can do in the pass game as well, but he makes that tough. So I'm not saying it's just going to be a 400-yard day or nothing like that. But week 1, let's not bang our heads against the wall. All right. Let's try to establish it strategically, but let's also not be oblivious to Kenyon Mitchell, cool, but that's CD. Cooper DeJean, cool. That's George Pickens. I've seen Cavante Turpin have success again. I've seen Jalen Tolbert have success against Philly. He dunked on Kenyon Mitchell's head. Dunked on him. That's Jalen Tolbert. I'm not going Jalen Tolbert, but I'm just saying, I ain't CD Lamb and George Pickens. They didn't get CD Lamb end of the year last year. And in the game they had CD Lamb, Cooper Rush threw for 45 American yards. Dak Prescott not throwing for 45 American football yards against y'all, man. Now I'm getting ahead of myself because, Eagle Week, when I try to be, this is what the Cowboys, this is what they do well, this is what they do. But y'all, man, Philly. I'll back down. I'm back in PA, man. I go to the stores. I see all this Eagles stuff and this Philly stuff. Man, Philly! I came from down. All the Cowboys is in Walmart. The Cowboys is in 7-Eleven. The Cowboys is in. Y'all don't got Sheets. What's y'all version of Sheets? Or Wawa? Bucky's. Bunch of Eagles jerseys around here, man. Look, you might think, Scott, you should be used to it. You've been up here your whole, yeah, but I've been in Dallas for 4 or 5 years, and nah, all this. Los Alto says, Sky, what's your prediction for week 1? I fell out the prediction game, but Philly! Cowboys gonna get that dub one way or the other. It may look ugly, but next week we're gonna break it down on how that happens. Okay? Yeah, I'm being biased. Okay, look, I'll be straight up with you. I can never, ever go into a Cowboys-Eagles game with Dak Prescott healthy and pick against them. They may lose. They've done before. Super Bowl champions. I get it. We got a lot of questions. Sure. Is 4 healthy? Is the Eagles? Philly! I'm sorry. Let me get back to this. Yeah, you already know what it is, Mel, man. Come on. Now, last year you asked me this with Cooper Rush at quarterback. Hey, dog, it ain't with it. Wait with it. Let me get through this so I get to the phone line. Wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Cavante Turpin, Jalen Tolbert, Ryan Flournoy. Now, not a shocker. I know a lot of people are, hey, get Tolbert up off the team, but you've been following this show. That was never happening. I didn't necessarily think it made a whole lot of sense either. I thought, provided what he, we talk about improving. He improved last year, but that don't mean he's the most talented guy in there. I'm cool with having him on this roster. No doubt about it. You need some guys that have proven ability. But Jonathan Mingo going down made this end of the roster thing a conversation. Ryan Flanoy, much like Trayshawn Holden, but actually I'll go a step further with Flanoy. Going into these preseason games, I did want to see some wide receiver things from Flanoy, and boy did we. But I was like, yo, we got to see the special teams too. When I thought it was going to be 6 receivers, he was a battle for that 6, right? But that's no longer the case with Mingo out. Ryan Flanoy's special teams tape, very impressive. Now, Sky, I don't give a damn about, but I hear you. But just go watch it. You'll get excited about some damn punt coverage. You'll get excited about a gunner. Him and CJ Goodwin they're going to be fun to watch on. I don't say watch, but if you want to go back and watch the tape, sure. But the game you ain't gonna see much of it. Those boys are going to be good together. Ryan Flanoy showed, okay, look, this is my cheat code to get on the team. Remember I said you gotta do the specialty things to get on. Bet, let me show you what I can do as a receiver. There has been a year 2 jump for Ryan Flanoy that cannot be denied. And it got to a point a week or so ago, we were talking about this on the collective, and I'm like, hey, or to Sky and to Ash, I'm like, hey, he's earned it. He's on this roster. Okay. Now the conversation now becomes, what do we do with 6 if we're going to go 6 between Brooks and Holden? That never had to be a conversation because Mingo got cut. I'm sorry, Mingo got hurt. But Ryan Flanoy, in his year 2 jump from a receiver standpoint, I actually think gives you even more upside than a Jonathan Mingo. You know, I mean, damn sure more talented than Jalen Tolbert. But that was never Jalen. Jalen Tolbert wasn't more talented than any of these receivers. Maybe Sands, maybe Jalen Brooks, but that was never the case. That's never going to be his superpower. But just based off of watching the preseason camp, I know camp, we saw both of these guys making plays. There's more upside, I think, to a Mingo. And what's going to be interesting, because right now it's not much interesting in this room. Right? This is going to be your 5. Flanoy and Tolbert are going to be your special teams guys. I think CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Kevontae Turpin, and Jake Ferguson are going to be are going to hog the target shares. Because remember what I've been saying all offseason. Wide receiver 3 is not the traditional wide receiver 3 this year anymore. Don't look at it that way, because Kevontae Turpin's not a traditional wide receiver. Jake Ferguson's going to be your 3rd option. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens are going to absolutely dominate the actual wide receiver target share. So that 4, 5, and what I thought 6, going to have to be special teams, and you're going to have to be, okay, if one of these guys goes down, can you be relied upon to not necessarily elevate or even maintain, but can you be where I need you to be? Gotta trust you. And Flanoy, I think, is gaining some of that trust to the staff. He's got some reps the other week. He's improving his route running ability. He has strong hands. He's fast. There's tenacity. There's a ceiling there that's pretty cool to see. A trail 2 times. I ain't mad at you, big dog. We back over here though. But that's the room, y'all. Even with Mingo out, I feel good about this room. I do. I think it has a little bit of everything that you want and you need in the room. When Mingo returns will be interesting because they're not likely going to dress 6 receivers. And I think that's why they want 5, by the way, because they know Mingo is going to come back. I think that's why they want 5. So technically you will have 6. You will. But what do they do when he comes back? Keep going here. Tight ends, Jake Ferguson, Brevin Spann-Ford, Luke Schoonmaker. I don't think any surprises here. Brev got hurt. That sucked for Brevin Spann-Ford because I think he was on his way to making tight end 2 not even a conversation. You ask some people around there, though, they believe he has that locked. Luke did show some improvement last year. He's in the concussion protocol. I'm not sure when he's going to come out of the concussion protocol. Look, it is what it is. I don't want to use it. I just don't understand why they picked him in the second round, knowing he had Jake Ferguson on his team. But I don't know. Maybe people didn't believe in Jake. I do. They do. They signed him to an extension. Got out ahead of it early. I think Jake is going to have a phenomenal year if he remains healthy. Rivaldo Fairweather, really a fan of him. I guess you could say I'm a Fairweather fan. Shouts out to Dave. I saw him tweet that. I like him. If they kept 4, I would have been cool with that. But Hunter Lipke is going to moonlight as tight end as well. So those are your 4. I have no problems with the room, honestly. I think you'll be able to get Fairweather back on the practice squad. Then offensive line. They went a little light. Something I had brought up about them going light. Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, Terrence Steele as your starters. I do think this line will round into form. You saw Tyler Guyton, making some steps to improve. Honestly, if you go look at this room in general from camp and preseason, there's signs of encouragement. Having Connor Riley, having Clayton Adams as the guys in charge, guys, it's night and day. Night and day from Phil and from Sleepy Solari. You hear the guys, you hear what Duke is saying. Like, they're all on the same page. This thing is, I think the offensive line will round into form. But let's not act like right out the gate the offensive line is going to dominate or something like that. I do think you're going to see some growings that they have to do. Tyler Smith is a rookie. Tyler Booker is still a rookie. Tyler Guyton got hurt. So, that hurt him the last 3 or so weeks. But I think there's going to be a little new scheme, new coaching techniques. I think they're going to have to figure it out. But once they do, I think the offensive line will be fine. However, I understand having question marks at the tackle position with Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele. That I'm not going to argue with you guys on having questions there. I just do believe in the coaching, so I do think they will be better. Brock Hoffman, Nate Thomas, TJ Bass, Johnny Cornelius. Shouts out to Johnny Cornelius, 6th, 7th round pick. Can't remember which one. He improved each and every week in the offseason, put out some good tape in the preseason. I think there is a future there for this young man, as long as he's still sticking with Connor Riley and Clayton Adams. I think you'll see him be a part of this unit. Nate Thomas as well. I thought Nate Thomas had a really solid offseason. What I was actually surprised about, and maybe I shouldn't be, because if you go and dig into him being redshirted, so that means he's doing a lot of working out. He's trimming up or toning up and working on feet and etc. He looked a lot quicker than I anticipated. And maybe that's coaching. I think it was Duke who talked about that 3-step shuffle or that technique or what have you they were using. Go look up Duke's tweet about it. But you see a quickness and if he was always a physical guy, but you see a deliberate, I want to dirt your ass, even in his pass protection. Now that get him in trouble. His hands get wide a little bit. There's still a lot to clean up, but there are improvements that you see from him. And honestly, I thought he was going to be a guard that could moonlight at tackle. He's been a tackle that moonlighted at guard in this offseason. And he earned, I think, his roster spot, and he earned being that swing tackle for right now. Now, they could go out and bring back Hakeem Adeniji, who also think had a good offseason, a good preseason, a guy that they can believe in being a swing type guy. So don't be shocked if Adeniji is either A, on this roster, or B, on the practice squad to call up if need be for game days as they sort this thing out. Let me ask y'all though, is this the most comfortable you guys have felt from a depth standpoint for this offensive line? I don't think they have a swing tackle, Dre, which I'm not mad at. Nate Thomas is going to be your left tackle, Johnny Cornelius your right tackle, and if they want to do some swing things, Adeniji would probably be that guy. But they doing left and doing right. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. TJ Bass has some starter reps in them, been here for a while. Brock Hoffman starter reps, been for a while. I think those are quality backups. And then Austin Richards got traded. Y'all see that basketball trade they doing out here now? Austin Richards got traded for a 2028 7th round pick. Look, get what you can get. I ain't mad at the compensation. I'm just like, oh, okay, we dipping into the basketball shit now. Basketball be like, hey, LA, let me get that 2044 second round pick. I'll give you my 2037 second round pick, my 2068 second round pick, and Luka Doncic. What? What? But hey, I guess by the time we get to 28, we play, hey, we got 7 seventh rounders. Let's turn it into something. But the Rams did this as well. Kind of crazy. 2028, bro. 3 years from now. Either way, they got something for him. I appreciate that. So, anybody feel? I mean, how y'all feel about the O-line? I think having Connor Riley, Clayton Adams, drafting Tyler Booker, the average age of this line is 24. I'm like it. I like it. Toxic said they trade preschoolers away. Real rap. Did y'all see? So somebody, we in overtime now. Somebody, hold on, I got a tweet. Wait a second. We good. Or text. Somebody talked about the Thunder saying long-term storytelling or long-term team building about when they traded. Was it Paul George, and Paul George turned into this and turned into that and I actually think it was the James Harden trade or something. Somebody was like, hey, stop playing, bro. It's like 15 years ago. Ain't no such thing. But hey, yeah, that's the NBA for you. That's the NBA for you. And that's it. That's the offensive side. And of course, you have the specialty guys. All right. CJ Goodwin will be back. Siege is there, Brian Anger, and Brandon Automatic Aubrey. That is your Cowboys 2025 roster, ladies and gentlemen. 2025 roster. Initially, not done. I believe you will see, and it may have happened. We've been on for a while. It may have happened. You will see some moves. A couple of these guys are going to hit IR. Practice squad, I think, is going to be revealed by the end of the day once the waiver situation clears. So a lot more to discuss, and I'll be back Friday to discuss that. Let's get back to the horns, though. Let's wrap to our guy Poindexter. What's up with you?
What's up, Sky?
What's good,
man? It's good to hear from you. You know, when you was on a little hiatus, man, I really missed you. But you're back to the grind, man. You're doing the collective and hanging out with 2i. You're doing. I'm enjoying it all, man. And you might even do some studio stuff this year. You know what I mean? But we're going to keep that under wraps, okay?
Don't tell nobody. No, I'm just playing. Yeah. I'll be down there a few different times. Shouts out to Brian. Shouts out to Vach. It'll be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, I did a little basketball during the summer, man. I did a league for Mike Evans down in Galveston. And I got to kick it with him a little bit, you know, and tell him, hey, man, it looks like you're going to get that gold jacket, man. You know, that 10,000-yard season Super Bowl ring. You might not be first ballot, but I think he'll be the first one from our area. We have a lot of players that have made the pros from our area, and he will probably be the first gold jacket wearer. But, you know, he was real nice, man. I met him a few times, you know, took some pictures with me and my wife and stuff and everything. Real good tournament, man. We had a good time with that.
Shout out to
Now we're gonna get to these. Yeah. We're gonna get to these Cowboys, man.
They said Poindexter was hooping. Nah, he a ref. My guy's
I'm a referee. Yeah, a referee. Yeah, man. Shoot, Mike, remember when I refereed games when he was, you know, in high school and stuff and everything like that. So. You know, like I say, we had a good time, man. Look, in the you know, in the area I live in, Galveston County, man, we have a lot of players that have made pros. A lot of players in basketball and football, even baseball. You know what I mean? So we have you know, it's this hometown thing, man. You know, you might go to a party or something and see them, or you know, might be kicking it at the park or stuff and everything like that. You know, but we are a real tight community, man. And you know, like I say, we have a lot of players that have made it. I didn't see them in high school, pee-wee balls, and all that old kind of stuff. So
I got
you. Yeah. But getting on to these Cowboys, man, with this 53-man roster, Now, this is not set in stone, man. I really think we're going to do a lot of different things. We still open for getting a running back, D tackle, cornerbacks, you know. We got to get out there and find out who we're going to use. Now, if I'm Philadelphia, I'm looking at this here and saying, well, when we play this first game, we gonna make them prove that they can run the ball. We got to make them prove that they can run the ball. I don't know. I haven't seen Javonte Williams. I don't know. I might be getting a few Zeke vibes on him and stuff and everything, but I hope that he comes out. Now, one thing about Sanders and one thing about Williams is they are good at catching the ball. And I remember San Francisco, probably about 20 years ago, they used a concept called the long handoff. You know what I mean? By getting these dudes in the flats and letting them do their thing because they're good pass catchers. You know, sometimes when you can't run the ball, sometimes and they trying to play quarters and stuff, you know, to start Pickens and CD and stuff like this here. They might be vulnerable to that long handoff type of concept. I don't know if they're going to use it or whatever, but seems like they're going to have to try to get those running backs involved because Philly, they're not going to have no respect for the running game. They're going to have to prove the running game of that. And I'm sorry, man, but I really thought that we could have got rid of CJ and put Fairweather on the 53-man roster. But, you know, like Fairweather,
I mean, they did.
You know, Malik Davis.
I mean, they didn't get rid of him, but he was cut. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but, you know, you got Malik Davis out there, Izzy, Fairweather, you know, and hopefully they'll get back to get on the practice squad, you know, and we can break glass, you know, in case of emergency with those players. And, you know, the tight ends, Schoonmaker, you know, Spanford, I'm not mad at them. But I don't know if they're injury prone or not, man. I really don't. You know, I hope they can stay in there. We still haven't seen them. You know what I mean? They haven't seen Schoonmaker at least. So I don't know, man. I really like Fairweather over Schoonmaker. Just like you, I'm a Fairweather fan. You know what I'm saying?
Fairweather fan.
And look,
he's gonna be on the practice squad. He's gonna be on the practice squad. I believe it.
Yeah, you know, but I think that the 53-man roster that we see right now is not the same 53-man roster we're going to see in week 8 because, like I said, we got players coming back. You still can add players to this roster, man. The defense, I like what they're doing on defense. Looks like we're going to have, I hope we have a strong rotation on defense. You know, last year, we were saying that Cook and Dono played a lot, but I don't see Hank, Gill, and Thomas in the games and rotate. You know, I don't see why you can't do that. Same thing with the linebackers to get James in the games at times. You know, if Flus is right saying that, hey man, I'm gonna have my defense going at 100 miles an hour, and these players gonna have to be able to rotate because that's how I'm gonna play them. You know, I'm gonna play them that they ain't gonna be able to hold up.
Line.
You know.
That's a defensive line. He's not rotating safeties. That's not. No team really technically rotates safeties all the time.
No, but you have different concepts.
Dan Quinn used to run big nickel and have 3 safeties.
Right.
That's not Flus's game. I don't think you'll see a bunch of 3 safeties looks.
Yeah, but like you said before, these players, the safety room, you know what I mean, don't look like all these players gonna be here next year. So we're gonna have to find out exactly who we gonna have out there. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I'm just throwing it up there and seeing what's gonna happen this year. I'm always be cheering. And one more point I wanted to talk about, the Netflix special with the Cowboys. I did not watch it. I'm not going to watch it. I might well watch It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, if I'm going to watch something. If I'm going to watch it, I'll watch it during the off season, you know, I'll wait till March or something and watch it, you know, when it ain't no football or something like this here. But I don't want to watch that now. You know, I'm talking about this football season. I don't have time for that. But from what I heard, and it's everywhere, from what I heard, it's more or less Jerry Jones' face on everything. You know, I'm I love the commentators. I listened to Bomani Jones, and he had a great take on it, man. You know, to say just how foolish Jerry is, you know. And we having this Netflix about 30 years of nothing, 30 years of being a clown, 30 years of not signing players. You know, when the first preseason game, I listened to the broadcast from the Rams, Los Angeles, and man, they didn't do nothing the whole time. It was Mina Kine was on there too, and they didn't do nothing the whole time but make fun of Jerry. Like, why you don't sign your player? They say, you know, the Rams players, they ain't got to worry about that crazy stuff with Jerry Jones. You know, they say Dallas is the only team that does that stupid stuff. And we knew Jerry Jones was going to be on TV the 2-3 weeks coming up into the season where everybody's talking about Jerry Jones instead of talking about this team which they supposed to be doing. Can't stand Jerry Jones. Oh, man, he just runs the elastic out my drawers. I can't stand it.
Well, I'll tell you this.
But I'm going to see
yeah. The documentary definitely has gotten more fans than Jerry Jones. It did his job. I tell you that much. Genius.
Man, I was so emotional. Man, I ain't emotional about no Jerry Jones. I don't care about his story. Whatever they want to put on there, they can make any kind of documentary and say, oh, it was so touching. Man, Jerry Jones don't touch me nowhere, but oh, Lord, have mercy. Help me, Lord. I don't want to say nothing crazy right now, man.
Hey, old school. Old school, man. Watch it. This is a whole different generation. Talk about Jerry and touching old school. Oh, wait a minute now.
But Bomani made a good point, man. He's like, y'all telling the story with Jerry Jones, a whole better story about the Cowboys, and it would be about when the inception came. You know, I'm talking about 10 straight years of success stuff. So Jerry Jones started out, he got 3 Super Bowls and ain't did nothing since then. It's the same thing as the Cleveland Browns. They won in the 60s and they ain't won since. You talk about Miami. Miami had the best record, had an unbeaten season. They ain't won nothing since. That's the same thing with the Cowboys. Yeah, we did good in the 90s, but we ain't won nothing since. Hey man, let me.
Look, bro. I'm not fighting you. I understand it. Yeah. I feel you. I'll tell you guys right now. I did not watch the documentary yet. I will at some point. I'm not gonna act like I'm not going to watch it. Yeah. I'm just keeping it a beam. I don't care right now. I don't have the care to watch it right now. Not right now. I don't.
Yeah, I'll watch it in March when it ain't no football or something. I'll watch it then.
And I don't have FOMO from it. You know, a lot of people on the internet was getting a little pressure to watch it because it's all I was talking about, and it looked like the clips looked cool and everything. And I'm gonna watch it. I'm just not watching it right now. I don't care. I'm just keeping it a beam with you. Yeah. I do not care.
Well, but Bomani said the start of the whole thing was Michael Irvin more than anything else. They say. He watched it, the thing that stood out to him to start the whole thing with Michael Irvin. In closing, I just want to say, how about you, Cowboys?
I knew it was coming, man. Appreciate you, big dog. Appreciate you.
All right, man.
Always good catching up with Poindexter, man. Yeah, my bad. If y'all wanted to hear my thoughts on the documentary, not yet. I'll probably give y'all my thoughts either after the season. I don't think I'm having time to care either during the season. I can tell you that, even bye weeks and things like that. If God forbid the season goes off the rails, maybe. But yeah, it's not me saying I'm not gonna watch it. Just I don't know how else to say it, dog. I just don't care. Like when it comes to documentaries, I love documentaries. That's why I'm gonna watch it, because I love documentaries. But I have to be innately interested in that specific topic of the documentary. I will watch some random topic documentary because I'm interested in that. With all due respect, not interested in reliving the gambler aspect and the 90 aspect right now. Not interested in that. And I know there was, but Scott, there's stuff we didn't know about, and the White House and the outhouse and the big house and what about when Irv did? And cool, I'm gonna get there. The got to do with right now? I'm just saying. I've seen documentaries of some of these stories. I've seen the 90s Cowboys. I've seen the end of it. The that got to do with right now for me. I don't care. Shouts out to them though. Fantastic rollout. I mean, the clips, the partying, wow, stuff's going on. The media tour Jerry's doing. I mean, fantastic. He's a genius. I said it earlier. He's a genius. Using the rollout and the doc and garnering new fans or the old fans, getting them back on the site. Man, he's a genius, dude. Genius. Yeah, Lawrence. But we knew about Irv trying to with the scissors. I mean, but it's cool to see the story again and things like that. But Dre said the timing of the doc is throwing me off. Talk about reading the room. Oh, brother. You know what? On one hand, it is terrible timing to people like me who don't give up about that right now. Oh, but it's amazing timing for Jerry Wayne Jones. Just when mother was like, hey, look, man, I'm tired of the drama. I'm tired of the Cowboys. I'm tired of the contract and the Micah. He dropped that doc. He done went on Stephen A. and he done went on Fox or whatever he was. And he's saying the big fancy words and he's giving you the Jerry gibberish things. And boy, he done reeled y'all back in on his side. Not necessarily on, like, I'm always reeled in for the season. Call me what you want. But boy, oh boy. The way I'm watching the in wrestling, we call it the turn, right? Jerry don't turn face and y'all loving it. Turn face right in front of our eyes. And as somebody who, you when you're watching wrestling, you're like, hey, I'm rooting for, you root for all these guys to succeed and be successful and stay healthy. But there's a good guy, bad guy. But I'm be like, oh, you know what? Not my guy. That's not my wrestling guy. But I appreciate that face turn. I appreciate how they did it. I appreciate. Now let's see where it goes. I appreciate Jerry for knowing how to turn that thing. Ooh wee. Jeremy said the greatest face turn ever. I'll say this: it is his greatest face turn during this 30-year drought, bar none. Better than signing Bill, better than Parcells, than trading for T.O. He ain't signed a whole lot of free agents, so I can't really. Better than trading for Amari, because if you guys remember Amari, people weren't even all for that. This is the greatest face turn during this drought Jerry Jones has done. Phenomenal. Dre said, nah, Jerry's still a monster heel. Inside. But the public face turn. Man. The only face turn that might be better is when Roman Reigns most recently turned face. That's it. All right, LA, let's wrap to you real quick and wrap this thing up. What's good with you, LA?
Brother Sky, man, I love the topic right now, man. This is some high level nation building stuff, talking about Jerry Jones, man.
I usually don't.
Building the whole fucking dream.
That's where we at.
Well, you tangented into it, and not that I'm a fan of Jerry Jones, the GM, but it's super interesting watching this dude grow billions and billions of dollars by understanding that the NFL culturally is novellas for America, and this dude just turning the Cowboys into the heel, and making money hand over fist. I ain't mad at the dude, man. I get it. Kudos to you, Jerry Jones, you jerk. Get me a Super Bowl, though. Get me a Super Bowl. I missed you out in Oxnard, man. I
wasn't there.
I don't know if you was out there.
No, I wasn't there this year.
Oh.
No.
No worries,
Did you
man.
see,
No worries.
you
Didn't miss anything.
You see Vach down there, Law was down there. A couple other creators went down.
Man, I ran into Law. I had shot like a couple clips, tagged them in them joints, got like 20,000 views on a bunch of them joints.
Hey, man.
Tagged you in a couple of them.
Law is he a Cowboy celebrity, fam.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I even bagged like some fine lady that was in Law's entourage. Got the number. I didn't got the number.
Hey, dog. Okay, pimp. Okay, pimp. I see you.
Well, no, man, it's a beautiful place, man. She a real beautiful chocolate shiny lady from Dallas, man. She was so fine.
LA, what the young boys say? Hey, you rizzed them up?
Yeah, I did, man. She was like, you gonna come down to Dallas? I was like, look, baby, I'm doing tailgates, whatever we talk about right now, Shawty. You know you like to smile. Then she started giggling. You know, once they start grinning, you winning.
Come on, LA, tell them. Hey, let me give you some game. I gave some game to my sons. They're getting older and stuff like that. We got to talk about girls. I said, like you said, if they grinning, you winning. Make them laugh, man. Make them laugh. Now, my son's a handsome young man, so he's gonna have no problem, I think, from that aspect. But make them laugh, you got them hooked. The rest becomes a little easier. But
especially if you the attractive guy, because especially these days, man, you know, if you happen to be a light-skinned dude, you got this whole stigma.
We not gonna do no light-skinned slander up in here, big dog.
No. These are just facts of the world, man. Whenever you, as the attractive light-skinned dude, are approaching these beautiful chocolatey lady folks, you know, they already got a stigma. Like, they'll say something like, I know you got a whole bunch of women.
Yeah, they do assume you got a deep roster. That is true.
Right. So to get, not to say to get through that, but if you get them smiling, you know, you get them then it's like, oh, he's not like the other ones. He's a good one. Then they don't feel so bad about being, oh, he is handsome. Keep on talking to me. I like you. Like,
but the key is you got to be genuinely humorous. Forced, they can see that forced humor. They can see that it got to be natural, man. It got to be smooth.
No, indeed. You know, and everybody's not gifted with the natural ability to, you know, to make the ladies feel fluid with their decision-making process and persuade them into a better situation. But that's all right. You know, for those of us that are, we're going to keep the world turning, man.
We appreciate y'all coming to me and LA's TED Talk, man. We appreciate it. Take this game with you.
Dude, glad I could be of service, man, because Cowboy Nation, man, the thing that I love, see, and this is one of the observations that I made about Cowboys training camp, you know. I made a clip about, you know, how I enjoyed how family time it is, how it wasn't people doing drugs in public. It wasn't people rowdy and yelling. It wasn't not one fist fight. You know, people from all walks of life, Cowboys fans, just, you know, we're used to being Cowboy Nation. We got a way better culture than every other fan base, even though within our fan base we got morons who want to hate our quarterback. And I did hear the craziest Joe Milton need to be starting nonsense, like, oh my God. Like, but overall, man, we got the best fans, man. You know, this is good family time. This is the best place to have wings and ribs and seafood boils, you know, and yell at the TV, you know, and then go and then debate whether or not you're going to do your 15-minute walk after you ate all that shit, because nobody is, and we all getting fat.
Hey, that's a good way to promote, selfishly plug after the dubs. Y'all know to come back on Mondays, right? For our cookout segment. That will be back.
Amen.
That will be back. And we do go on those walks. I know how it is. We go on those walks. It might be a lot of different kind of walks this year for different reasons, but we gonna go on that walk particular after a dub.
Man, Holy Spirit has me in the space of doing very, very similar stuff, man. But our ability to build community, share community, you know, with our little squads, with our little stuff, you know. And again, you know, Cowboy Nation is deep enough online to where, you know, Jerry Jones has given us a blueprint on making a lane out of nothing, out of leveraging art, leveraging culture, you know. And if we can bring people together, then you can actually, you know, make some money for yourself, which is a really cool thing, you know. Now, these Bammers need to get us a daggone Super Bowl this year, though. But, Brother Sky, I love you, man. I love everything that you're doing. I love your show. I love your platform. I tagged you in a couple of joints on IG.
It was IG?
If you ever want to put a face with the name.
Is it recently?
Yeah.
I don't really be on there much.
Yeah, recently.
I go take a look.
Yeah, y'all never be on there, man.
Nah, I'm not IG.
Man, I had slid in there with a law real easy. I was moving spots to shoot something. So I got a 70 to 200 on an APS-C sensor, and it's awesome. I got the little new Canon R50V.
Okay.
So I can shoot sports amazing because I had a black. Yeah, man, I had a Black Magic. Well, I still got the Black Magic, but the autofocus on it is terrible, and I was way too overconfident as a person who never shot anything before with a camera.
But sometimes the best way is just to go through the fire with it. Trials and tribulations. Like, it's just the best way to go through. You fail, you figure it out. That's how I got to where I'm at production wise. I just failed at a lot of things and was like, okay, this don't work.
Bruh, man, your stuff's so clean, dog. Like I've been using you as one of my main templates to be able to put everything together. But had I not went that route with pretty much getting the wrong camera, which subsequently probably cost me my relationship and shit, you know. But going full fledged ahead, you know, man, I done learned how to use OBS like a little baby. I done found my little site to make my little lower thirds and manage my stream. And
I love that for you, big dog, but I do not want to be a part of your relationships getting messed up. I'm so sorry.
Well, that's not you. That's not you.
Inadvertently, you know, hey, I'm trying to be like Scott. Let me go get this camera. Bye. Whoa. It's Scott's fault now. You know what I mean?
If you find a lady who doesn't celebrate you growing in the light that God has for you, or a lady, if anybody, if you in a relationship with somebody who doesn't understand how to celebrate you, or gets angry when you're getting exposed to different verticals of success, you don't need to be in that place. So if me buying that camera, if me dropping 3,500 could get a negative variable out of my life that I didn't necessarily or that I was forcing to be in there, like only thing I've been doing is embracing life as a filmmaker and part-time content maker, and I'm better for it.
I hear you, because I told my wife at the beginning of this whole thing, like, there's gonna be certain nights, I'm down there learning, and it's tough. The work-life balance is tough.
Mm-hmm.
But old boy said, Trill 2 times is hilarious, bro. We're gonna end it on this. Trill said, man, camera over coochie is crazy.
Nah, man, but it's purpose over being not satisfied, man. When you come home and you sit in the driveway for 2 hours, because you don't really, you just tired and you don't really want to, like you ready to go in the house, but man, God be calling us into doing different stuff, and it wasn't just being a house dad.
Hey, you talking right now, LA? You talking right now, bro? I appreciate you opening up, man. And hopefully your word. I know we joking, we having fun, whatever, but hopefully your word reaches someone that may need to hear that. Thank you, LA.
Amen.
My guy.
God bless you, bro.
You too, bro. That's a hell of a way to end the show, man. Y'all ain't shit in this damn. I mean, I love y'all to death, though. Don't get it twisted. I love y'all to death, but I gotta be honest. Y'all ain't shit, man. But I ain't shit either. Boy, I missed y'all. Oh my God. Yo. No, this might go in the Hall of Fame. Oh my God, Darren. GoPro is diabolical. Yo, get me up out of here, man. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Do me a favor, please. GoPro Plus. Hey, yo. Stop. I'm done. I'm not reading the comments no more. All right, look. I've got tears in my eye. If y'all enjoyed today's show, please hit the like button on the way out. We back. Tell everybody we back, man. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll be back Friday. morning. Boy, it's been a minute since I couldn't hold it together. Hold up. I'll be back Friday morning to talk about the rest of the roster. I'm done. All right, man. I can't no more, bro. I'm out of here. I love y'all to death. Please continue to support. Me and Tuai will be back next week, previewing this game. I think so. Oh yeah. Hold on. So next week, the Cowboys play Thursday. I'm glad I thought about this. Cowboys play Thursday. So the schedule you just saw, don't even worry about that schedule next week. I'm actually going to be live, I believe, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So Monday we'll be on to discuss the Cowboys defense, Eagles offense. Tuesday, Cowboys offense, Eagles defense. We'll flip it on Tuesday. Wednesday, the game, the day before the game. We'll break it all down. So be back next week. Me and Tuai back as well. It'll be a jam-packed early week than Friday. So I'm gonna be on pretty much all week except Thursday. Cut over Cuddy. I'm out. I'm pressing. If there was ever a time to say this,
Push the goddamn button.
that's the damn time, bro. I think I covered everything, man. Yo, y'all crazy. We back Friday. We're gonna finish discussing this roster, looking into the week. Hit me up on Twitter at Skywalker Still. We out here. Love y'all. Peace. Apologize to the lovely ladies in the chat for our behavior today. Miss Adika, love you. Peace.